According to a new survey, the most popular puppy name in the country is Luna, while the least popular is still Ghislaine. To be honest, I mean, if Ghislaine got lost, you wouldn't, walk out and yell that name. That dog's gone.
The old Jeffrey Epstein jokes. They got alive and well. You know, I got to tell you, Jeffrey Epstein's famous line. You know what his famous line was? He would ask, "What's the best thing about dating a 29-year-old?" What's the best thing about dating 29-year-olds? That's what he. What's the best thing about dating 29-year-olds? Say, I don't know, Jeffrey Epstein. What is it? He says that there's 20 of them. I'm sorry, what? Democrats, they are all Democrats pedophiles now? How about Cesar Chavez? And that woman she wasn't his wife. She was his brother's wife. Democrats and sexual assault go together like carrots and peas, don't they? And keep the kids away from the Democrats. Definitely keep the kids away from the Democrats. Because they all tell that joke. They tell it better than I did, though. See, Jeffrey Epstein and all the Democrats say, what's the best thing about dating 29-year-olds? And the answer is that there's 20 of them. See, that's the Democrat Party. They should be kept away from the children at all cost. Not on the side of the good guys. Well, a very happy Friday to you, and welcome back. We continue. I know it's a terrible joke. We continue. I told it badly too, and that's the unusual part, really. Is that as somebody shared it yesterday at Newsmax, and I said, well, that's a tasteless joke. I'm going to have to remember that. That's pretty amazing. And with all the Democrat stuff going on all over the place, it kind of fits right in with the Democrat Party's platform. You see, CBS News. They sat down with all of the California Democrat candidates for governor. They all want to be the governor of the once great state of California. And CBS News asked them, name one mistake that Gavin Newsom has made. Name one mistake that Gavin. Isn't that what they asked, Michael? Which is just name anything that Gavin Newsom did wrong. And we've got some fun on that today. Do we really have Greta Thunberg news? Is there Greta von Funberg news? No, she did not go to the Oscars with Leonardo DiCaprio. Then he brought an Italian model instead because he's Leonardo DiCaprio. And why would he come out in Greta von Funberg? Are you kidding me? 90% of her fun is below the waterline. That's completely nuts. Now, the Democrats, they love the Iranians. They love the Islamic Revolution. They love the jihad against Western civilization because nobody's more bloodthirsty than the left in the United States and Western Europe and so on. But here's the headline out of Iran today. Iran, they love, here's the British Broadcasting Corporation, the BBC. Iran, they definitely in Great Britain, they love because buggery and all that stuff. But never mind that. The headline is Teenager among first to be executed over anti-government protests. See, they protested and they're arrested and they're executed. And this is why the Democrats love them. See, and I love the teenager among the first to be executed. In Iran, that's enough to make your mom proud. You're among the first to be executed. Oh, my son, Babu, he is among the first to be executed. We're so proud. We're so proud of Babu. And he was named for a car bomb. He was the Babu, the car bomb. Isn't that amazing? Yeah, teenager is he's not the first, but he's among the first to be executed over the anti-government protests. And the Democrats, they like to say, oh, Renee Good, Renee poor, innocent, murdered Renee Good, who crashed her car into a federal agent and all that good stuff, and then was shot because she was out there blocking federal law enforcement. Then when instructed by federal law enforcement officers in uniform, were they wearing masks, Michael? Because the Democrats, they're really obsessed with this mask thing. I think at home they wear different masks altogether. But amazing said, and Renee Good in Minneapolis, she was shot and killed after crashing her car into a federal law enforcement agent and disobeying law enforcement orders. And the Democrats told us that only happened to black men. That only happened to black men. Now here is a young white woman, and it really confused the Democrats. So they had to be mental. They had to be mental about it. And then their guy, Alex Pretty, who always brings a gun and extra ammunition to every fight he gets into with police. And he attacks police, spits in their faces, and the car kicks out their taillights and becomes a hero of the Democrat Party, kind of like Luigi Mangione, who assassinated the CEO on the sidewalk in New York and became an instant hero in the Democrat Party because they love murder. They really do. They most of them are cowards and cross-dressers, but they're happy that other people are murdering random people for no reason at all. And the left, they like that. They like that. But back to Iran. Teenager among first to be executed over anti-government protests. And that's Iran has executed 3 men. 3. That's right out of, that's as close as they get to the Bible over there. They got 3, here it is right here. Iran has executed 3 men accused of killing police officers during anti-government protests in January. State media says the first hangings to be carried out in relation to the demonstrations. They just gunned down like 33,000 or maybe 55,000, depending on who you ask, Iranian people. Among the men was teenager Salah Mohammadi. And Salah Mohammadi, they hanged him, a member of Iran's national wrestling team. He's a member of their national team. It's like the way the Democrats feel about our hockey team, because the Democrats don't like winners, not for the United States of America. They're not on Team America at all. So Salah Mohammadi, who is a member of Iran's national wrestling team, sources have told CBS News, the BBC's U.S. partner. I didn't know that they were dating. They've got a U.S. partner, and it's CBS and BBC. Boink, boink. Isn't that wonderful? The executions took place on Thursday morning, local time, in the northern Qom province, the Qom Qom province. And after the Supreme Court, they have their own Supreme Court, with 9 supreme leaders, I assume, upheld their death sentences, Iran's Tasnim news agency reported. Isn't that nice? The nationwide protests, which began in December and escalated in January, were met with a violent crackdown by the Iranian authorities. Rights groups say thousands of people were killed. And Tasnim, the semi-official news agency associated with Iran's Revolutionary Guard Corps, the IRGC, it's not Iran's, it's the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, but the BBC gets it wrong because they're filthies. They're a bunch of filthies. They're on the left, and they wouldn't tell you the truth if you asked them what day it was. So they're in association with Iran's, that'd be the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. That's the IRGC, which they then put in parentheses. Reported that Mohammadi, plus Mehdi Ghassemi and Saeed Davoudi were found guilty of killing 2 police officers in separate attacks in the province of Qom. See, Tasnim said that they were also convicted of Moharab, which is waging war against God. You don't want that, because they'll definitely hang you there for that. It's really Allah. It's not God. It's different. It's Allah, who is bigger and better than your God. Because, Allahu Akbar doesn't just mean God is great. It means Allah is greater than your God. That's what that means. So it's like that. According to rights groups, 3 men had confessed under torture and were executed without a fair trial. What makes you say that? Why would they say that? That's odd to me. Their deaths came a day after Iran executed a dual Iranian-Swedish national. It's got dual citizenship. You're in Sweden. What are you doing in Iran? You should probably stay in Sweden. It's real nice. It's a little chillier there, I guess. Iran-Swedish national whose name was, what was his name? Because he's dead now. Karush Kevani. Garush Kevani. And he was hanged after being found guilty of spying for Israel. But I thought he was Swedish. Iran's judiciary news agency Mizan Online said, sure, Kevani was reportedly arrested during Iran's 12-day war with Israel last June. Sure, that's, so they got to hang a lot of people. What was the body count? Israel didn't kill anybody, but Iran killed a whole bunch of their own people because that's what they do. They're good. It's clear to us that the legal process that led to the executions of the Swedish citizen has not been legally secure, Swedish foreign minister said in a statement. Yeah, now what are you going to do about it? They're Iran. They're going to nuke you. They're planning on building ballistic missiles that can hit you in Stockholm, and they're going to blow it up with what is somebody heard. I always love this. Last night I heard somebody call it a nuclear weapon. It's a nuclear weapon. Kind of. It's an important word. Look at the way it's spelled. Pronounce it that way. Come on. It's unclear to me why people can't pronounce nuclear. That's been true when I was 8 years old. I was correcting people. It's not nuclear. It's nuclear. Okay? Can we do that? The protests reportedly spread to 180 cities and towns around Iran in all 31 provinces. And they were sparked by anger over the collapse of the Iranian currency and the soaring cost of living. It's affordability. We should send them our Democrats. Democrats could fight for affordability in Iran because, their mental illness knows no bounds. Who did I hear today refer to severely mentally ill? It was one of the sound bites today. Oh, hey, that's right. It's Eric Swalwell. He refers to severely mentally ill Democrats. And those are the SMIDs, as they've been named here on the Chris Plant Show. The SMIDs, severely mentally ill Democrats. That's a SMID. They love their acronyms, don't they? They do. So the report is, and the 31 provinces, 180 cities, quickly widened into demands for political change. And that's why they had to start murdering people by the tens of thousands. Became one of the most serious challenges to the clerical establishment since the 1979 Islamic Revolution, while a near-total shutdown of the Internet, except for party officials. It's like they are like Democrats in pretty much every way. Shut down the Internet and communication services made it difficult to find out what was happening in the country. Protesters told the BBC that the lethal crackdown by security forces was unlike anything they had witnessed before. Sure, they were killing lots of people. According to the U.S.-based Human Rights Activists News Agency, they call themselves Harana. They're Harana. They got to turn it into an acronym like that because isn't that amazing? Harana. They call it Harana. At least 7,000 people were killed in the January crackdown, including 6,488 protesters and 236 children. The Democrats like it better with the children. They like, got to stay close to the children. Sorry, just broke into Nancy Pelosi mental illness there. But Democrats are okay with that. They kill 1 million a year in the United States, and they call it choice, and they give out Lucite blocks. They give out awards. The more you kill, the more likely you are to get a Lucite block, which is nice.
I like to be close to the children.
You know how they are. Keep them away from the children.
You're scaring the children.
Your face is scaring the children. You're a scary person. So we got this. So they're executing people, and they executed 3 people yesterday by hanging because they said after they were tortured, they tortured the 3 people. Did you kill the police? And so, oh, yes, I killed the police. I get, okay, good. Now we hang you. Now we stop torturing you. There's good news and there's bad news, and that is that they stop torturing you and they start hanging you. I've got good news and I've got bad news. The good news is the torture stops right now. But there's bad news. Yeah. A teenager who's on he's a champion on their national wrestling team, and they hanged him by the neck until dead. It's what they do. And the Democrats applaud them. They're not on our side. They're the left. See how that goes? Also, you see a Democrat, a member of Congress, as a staffer that repeatedly posed falsely as a lawyer for illegal alien detainees and smuggling things into the illegal aliens. because Democrats, I think, are all criminals and cross-dressing criminals, too. That's right. Got good news and I got bad news. I got another good news, bad news thing today, too. And Democrats vote against deporting illegal alien migrants who harm animals. They want more illegal aliens that torture animals. The Democrats, a couple of Democrats voted on behalf of the animals, but most of the Democrats, they voted in favor of torturing and killing animals by illegal aliens. As long as you're an illegal alien, the Democrats are in favor of, killing the animals for illegal aliens. Governor now, Sarah Huckabee Sanders, kicked out of a restaurant in Little Rock. The Democrats are waging civil war against sanity. And Chicago, I've got several Chicago stories. You'll be surprised to learn that they involve crime, theft, guns, shooting people. Chicago stories, those are coming up as well. We're at 888-630-9625.
Nuclear. It's pronounced nuclear.
Okay. We can go to the telephones. I got somebody tweeted this at us, and that's fun. It was Faces of Fascism tweeted at us a photograph, and I can't tell whether it's real or because you have this whole artificial intelligence thing and all that. But here's an automobile. It appears to be a white automobile. Why does race always have to be a part of everything with you? A white automobile, it's painted white. The interior is not white, of course. And here on the driver's side door, just aside the door handle and below the window, the driver's side window, there's a bumper sticker. And the bumper sticker says, "Not my gun, it's your son," with an exclamation mark. And there's a little silhouette of a semi-automatic pistol after the word gun on this sticker. Not my gun, it's your son. And if I'm not mistaken, that's one of my sayings, isn't it? I like to say, the problem is not our guns, it's your sons. The problem is not my gun, it's your son. Maybe you should stop raising criminals who have no place to go but prison or the grave. Oh, which reminds me of those Chicago stories. I can't wait to get to those Chicago stories. But here's the bumper sticker on the driver's side door and tweeted at us a photograph. Not my gun, it's your son. Isn't that fun? That's good. And Michael checked that on the internet to see if there's anything. What did you find? A Reddit post from a couple of years ago saying, as Chris Plant likes to say, the problem is not our guns, it's your sons. And that's true. Democrats, I think, are all criminals. They're all violent criminals. Every one of them. They shouldn't be allowed to fly on commercial airliners or to own guns. And President Trump yesterday, just as we were wrapping up the radio show, he was meeting with the Japanese prime minister. And President Trump made a funny joke about Pearl Harbor because it was just hanging out there like a piñata, I mean, here you are with the nice, she looks like a very nice, she really does look like a wonderful person, the Japanese prime minister. She's a woman. They have a lady prime minister now. Hillary Clinton famously lost the presidency here to Donald Trump. And then the Democrats put up another woman. What was her name again, Michael? Yeah. Kamala. They put up Kamala. And she lost, too. Who did she lose to? Oh, she lost to Donald Trump, too. The Democrats have only put up women for the presidency twice. They were both defeated in non-consecutive presidential elections. And they were both defeated by Donald Trump, which is pretty funny, I think. Especially I don't know what's funnier, the Hillary part or the Kamala part. That's both pretty good. Both pretty good, I got to say. All right, let's go to the telephones, talk to the nice people. We are at 888-630-9625. 888-630-9625. Yeah, all kinds of mayhem going on in Chicago because they have all those Democrats there. You know how they love to shoot people. Again, the problem is not our guns, it's your sons. And that's that tweet is making the rounds a little bit, and Democrats have seen it. And one of the first Democrats said, "What does that mean? What does that even mean? The problem is not my gun, it's your son." The problem is not our guns, it's your sons. And Democrats look at that and they shake their heads. They don't know what those words mean. They're not very intelligent people. They're not wise people, not learned people, not good with the language. All right, let's go to the telephones, Michael. 888-630-9625. Let's go to Lee, calling coincidentally, perhaps, from Leesburg, Virginia. Lee, you must be very famous in your hometown. Lee, you're on the Chris Plant Show.
Yeah, they even named the town after me. Hey, Chris, I've been talking to a lot of Republicans about this war in Iran.
Uh-huh.
And, there's this hand-wringing that I hear going on, and to me, it's rather sad. But in my view, this war going on right now is, I want my side to win, okay? I am not interested in seeing America lose, and these people are trying to philosophize this war, and it reminds me of Vietnam. It reminds me of, like, what I kind of grew up partly in that era as a kid, but it's the idea that should America be fighting foreign wars, or should America, be winning a war, and it gets mired down in all this garbage. And I'm just thinking to myself, well, if I'm a jet fighter and I'm flying over Iran right now, and I want to go and do my bombing run and come back alive. And, I feel the same way about them, too. I want to see my guys come back and win. I don't want to see my guys be losing a war. And so that might sound probably simplistic to a lot of people. It's like, you're just a warmonger, or you think just winning a war is just a great thing. And, well, when it's our guys, I want my guys to win the war. Okay, yeah. There's no middle ground. I'm not interested in seeing my guys lose. Mm-hmm. So I feel bad. I mean, I listen to like Tucker Carlson and stuff from time to time, and he's going to he is like to the Iran war what Jane Fonda was to the Vietnam War.
Wow.
You just sit on the sideline, and what you do, you just throw shots at American troops and shots at people. Hey, man, this is our country. These are our people. These soldiers represent me, and I'm tired. I'm tired of seeing Iran killing our American soldiers. I'm tired of having them export their terrorism to our people. And I've been living with this, since 1979. I mean,
right.
I remember very consciously about what happened over there and what happened to the 241 Marines. I remember that very distinctly when that happened. And then nothing happened after that. Nothing happened to those to avenge the murder of those Marines, man. And that's really stuck in me for decades. So I have no qualms about this at all. Hey, the Iraq those mullahs have done nothing to endear me to them, nothing. And all they've done is they hate me. Okay, they hate this country. They're killing our soldiers. I'm not, and I don't want to see them have and for the people who keep saying, well, this is a war choice or whatever. Yeah, it is kind of a war choice, but Donald Trump ran on. He said every single event he did, Iran will not get a nuclear weapon, and you know what? That's not going to happen now. If one thing has happened, it's the result of what's going on. Number one, Iran's not going to be exporting terrorism the way they used to anymore. Number two, they're not going to be getting a nuclear weapon anytime soon. So.
Yeah, you covered a lot of territory, and you did it quite well. And it's true, I think, that the Iranian, the Islamic Revolution, they've not endeared themselves to anyone, certainly not to the United States of America or to Israel, the great Satan and the little Satan, and the plan to annihilate us all by enriching uranium for the purpose of building nuclear weapons while simultaneously extending the range of their ballistic missiles to becoming intercontinental ballistic missiles, ICBMs, atop which they could put nuclear warheads. They have enough enriched uranium right now to 60% enriched. It ought to be about 90% to build a nuclear weapon, but it only takes a couple of weeks while you're enriching. spinning centrifuges and so on to go from 60% purity on your uranium to 90% purity. Then you're good to go with 11 nuclear weapons, which you should assume they will use unhesitatingly, and they'd be very happy to do it. They're pleased. They're a suicidal death cult, but they're also a homicidal death cult. And I got to say, one of the things you're talking about, Tucker Carlson, and Mark Levin, you probably know this, Lee, but Mark Levin calls him Tucker Carlson. Because which is a hilarious nickname, and apparently Tucker Carlson taking money from Qatar, which provides safe haven to Hamas leaders and others, and apparently, according to Mark Levin, and he checks his facts, he's very good at this, and he has a legal mind when it comes to all this. And Tucker Carlson, and you say he's going to be the Hanoi Jane of the war with Iran. Tucker Carlson, that is big, and I was trying to think of an Iranian city that begins with a T, because Hanoi Jane, we got Hanoi Jane, I guess we got Tehran Tucker, could be Tehran Tucker, I guess is the easy one, the low-hanging fruit there. And I always liked Tucker Carlson. I liked him on the air. I liked him personally. I always liked him personally. But there's a lot of madness out there these days, and Israel dragging us into war to the point where the President of the United States and the Prime Minister of Israel have to come out and clarify what media figures are saying. Say, well, no, the Jews didn't drag an unwitting Donald Trump into war against the world's #1 state sponsor of terror in Tehran. But Tehran Tucker, Hanoi Jane, Tehran Tucker might go there, and Tehran Tucker Carlson with the Mark Levin edition of Carlson. And yes, I want our troops win. And I've got to say this too, Lee. I didn't see this coming. I didn't see President Trump going after Iran on this level, military level. The bombing run with the B-2 bombers to take out the nuclear sites and saying, well, we really knocked out their nuclear sites, and then we learned that they've still got underground facilities, just like in that movie Top Gun Maverick, which is all about Iran. They don't call it Iran in the movie, but it is all about Iran. The F-14 and the underground nuclear facilities in the side of the mountain and all that stuff. This is what the military has been looking at for decades now, knowing that Iran. When I was at the Pentagon 20 years ago, we were being briefed on Iran building their underground nuclear facilities into the side of mountains, and I got briefings on what it would take to bomb them into oblivion, and it was going to be very, very difficult to do even 20 years ago. And I've been watching this very closely. And Lee, you say that you're watching there are a lot of hand-wringing coming from conservatives because, President Trump also, Lee, said that, no more foreign wars, no more endless wars, not going to get into that sort of thing. This is not an endless war. It is foreign, of course, but I got to say, Lee, and then the Democrats wanted to debate the meaning of the word imminent, because the word imminent was used, Lee, when talking about Iran's ability to be bad actors and hurl either a dirty bomb with enriched uranium and not a nuclear exploding nuclear device, or we wait for them to build an actual nuclear bomb. And Lee, I got to, what does imminent, what does the word imminent mean when it comes to the world's #1 state sponsor of terror, radical Islamic terror, suicidal, homicidal death cult looking to perpetrate mass murder, and we know that that's who they are. What does imminent mean, Lee? Because I've actually debated this or brought it up. I'm not debating actively, but raising the question, what does imminent mean when it comes to Iran, the Ayatollahs, the mullahs, with nuclear weapons and ballistic missiles atop which they might mount them? Is 8 years imminent? Is 4 years imminent? Is a year, 1 year imminent? What does it mean? And the Democrats will just argue at you and argue with you and get spitting mad and furious, and to argue the meaning of the word imminent. And I got to say, when it comes to Al-Qaeda with nuclear weapons and ICBMs, imminent means stop it now. Stop it now. You know what imminent is? We're going to imminently stop them from building nuclear warheads and putting them on top of their ballistic missiles with ever-expanding
Chris,
range.
I would just add. Look, I'll just finish with this. They drew the sword. They drew the sword decades ago. Okay, they drew the sword against America decades ago, and they're just getting what they asked for. I'm 100% behind our troops. I'm 100% behind this mission. I'm 100% America. Kick their ass. Kick their ass. I'm not interested in having the Iranian threat in our country, invoking a fatwa to, like, we're going to start taking out American politicians like there was against Donald Trump, et cetera. You draw a sword like that, you know what? You punch back.
Yeah.
I'm tired of America just sitting there and waiting for something to happen next.
Right.
When they threaten our president, they threaten people of the administration, you punch back.
Yeah.
They drew the sword first. You hit back.
Yeah, you're right. They drew the sword on us in November of 1979, overrunning our embassy, taking hostages, and that's a violation of diplomatic protocol for Democrats that are. But you're right, and they sent 2 men to the United States to assassinate President Donald Trump. That's much more recent than 1970. That still tells you who they are today. It tells you who they are, and these guys are They're the barbarians. They're terrorists. They've taken over a country. They brutalize their own people, tens of millions of their own people, and they brutalize the hell out of them. They slaughter them, and they execute. They're hanging them yesterday, including one of their champion national team wrestlers, and they hanged him, accused him of killing a police officer, which, we'll never know whether they actually killed a police officer. It would be impossible to know for certain. But they're hanging people. These are the bad guys. And the Democrat Party thinks that the status quo is preferable. And I got to say, again, I didn't see President Trump doing this. I didn't see this coming a mile off. But when it started, I said, look at it, President Trump is not to be messed with. He's not kidding. And when he makes these promises on the campaign trail, crazy, Democrats don't understand. Wait a minute, you're actually following up on things that you promised the American people when you were campaigning for the office? That confuses the hell out of the Democrats, of course. Because that's why would anybody do that? Make good on a campaign promise. It is amazing. And there is a point at which, if you're taking the long view, a point at which it's going to be too late. Well, America dithered for long enough and for too long. And now Iran has 11 nuclear warheads atop ballistic missiles. And Tel Aviv is the first city to go up in a mushroom cloud, and the rest to follow. And they'd be celebrating and dancing in the streets in Iran, the regime and the supporters of the Islamic Revolution would be. And it's honestly, again, when you're talking about nuclear weapons, Lee, in the hands of radical Islam, what does the word imminent mean? How imminent does it have to be before you decide to take military action against people that have promised to kill millions of you while they're building nuclear weapons, enriching uranium, and extending the range of their ballistic missiles? I marvel at that, honestly. Lee, fun call. Thank you for getting the ball rolling here today.
Good day, Chris.
Thank you. Thanks, Lee. That's great. That is great. And ICBMs, intercontinental ballistic missiles. I've always enjoyed intercontinental ballistic missiles. Going back to my earliest childhood days, I was like, wait, explain ICBMs to me. Let's talk about that. Explain to me how nuclear weapons work. I was 8 years old, 9 years old. And I was thinking, how many continents are there? And explain throw weight to me. I'll be out on my Schwinn. I'll be out on the Stingray. Then I'll be back to learn more about nuclear weapons. 888-630-9625. Now, Old Dominion University just had a radical Islamic jihadi terror attack. And now they're going to start asking incoming students about their criminal history. I think that camel has left the barn, hasn't it? Let's go to the telephones, Michael. Let's go to Robert calling from Charleston, South Carolina, to talk about nuclear weapons and ICBMs. Roberto, you're on the Chris Plant Show.
Yes, I just wanted to say that a while back I saw a video about how it's detonated and all that kind of thing.
Nuclear weapons.
Yes, that's right, and it has to be detonated above the ground, of course, maybe a few thousand feet, so that it covers, so that it detonates more.
Maximize the blast radius. Right.
Exactly. And that all takes a lot of precision. It has to be done precisely correctly, and precisely the timing has to be right. That's not an easy job. So that means that it's not that they're going to get the refined nuclear material, but also that they get all of this. Everything has to work. I mean, you just can't get pieces and parts and put it all together. They're going to have to get experts from the outside, because it's doubtful that they have all of those people. These are people who really know their stuff. I mean, it's just not anybody you would find along the street, and I'm not so sure that they're going to be able to get it together that fast. You know what? The head of state of North Korea called Donald Trump, and he said to him, "Hey, I got a big red button right here on my desk." Donald Trump said, "Yeah, I got a bigger red button, and mine works."
Yeah, and mine works. Yeah, I remember that. That was very funny. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, nuclear weapons are not easy. It's difficult science. And ICBMs, you launch. We put multiple independent reentry vehicles, MIRVs. With like 8 warheads on one bus. They call it a bus. The platform that the nuclear warheads are mounted on inside of an ICBM that might be launched from a ballistic missile submarine or from a field in North Dakota. But you're right, and the bus launches into outer space, right, Robert? And it travels around the world in outer space, then it re-enters, and we can drop one warhead off over Minsk and one over Moscow and one over St. Petersburg. Yep. And you're right, they have to detonate above ground level to maximize the blast radius. If it hits the ground, it'll blow up and it'll be a big deal. But yeah, to maximize the blast radius and the effect of a nuclear weapon, it ideally would detonate thousands of feet above ground level. So you were learning all about nuclear weapons, Robert. It's kind of fun, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, but it's very dangerous. If you ever make a mistake and walk into a room that's radioactive or something like that, where there's radioactive material and open up by accident, you can get big problems. And one time I talked to a guy who... I'm
running out the clock on you.
On purpose.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, okay, sure.
Yeah, sorry. It's nuclear weapons. We'll have to continue.